why inner peace matters now more than ever. In today's world, we are drowning in information, overwhelmed by speed and burdened by endless expectations. Life moves fast, but our minds can't always keep up. The result? Exhaustion, anxiety, a creeping sense that we're losing control, not just of the world around us, but of ourselves. We chase more success, more attention, more security, thinking it will make us feel whole. But the more we reach outward, the more disconnected we often become inside. The real problem isn't the chaos out there, it's how we respond to it. We can't slow the world down. We can't force people to treat us the way we want. We can't guarantee that life will go as planned, but we can control one thing: our own minds. This is where Stoicism becomes more relevant than ever. Stoicism doesn't teach you how to control the world. It teaches you how to control yourself. It trains you to stay calm in storms, steady in uncertainty, and anchored in truth. It helps you build something the world cannot give and therefore cannot take away: inner peace. Inner peace isn't about tuning out, it's about tuning in. It's not weakness, it's mastery. It's not passive, it's powerful. In a noisy, unpredictable, and hyper-connected world, inner peace is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Because the truth is, your mind is the only place you ever truly live. And when that place becomes calm, grounded, and unshakable, everything else begins to change. That's why Stoicism doesn't just matter, it's vital. One, distinguish what is within your control and what is not. Some things are in our control and others not. Epictetus. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies one deceptively simple insight. There are two kinds of things in life: those within your control and those beyond it. This distinction changes everything. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your attitude, these are within your control. The weather, other people's opinions, the economy, your past, or the outcome of your efforts, these are not. And yet most of our stress, frustration, and emotional suffering comes from trying to control what isn't ours to command. We try to fix people. We obsess over results. We replay the past. We worry about what might happen. We resist reality instead of accepting it. Stoicism offers a radical shift. Focus only on what you can control. Let go of the rest. This is not passivity, it's power. It's the power of a disciplined mind, one that chooses where to place its energy and refuses to be pulled into a battle it cannot win. You cannot stop the rain from falling, but you can choose how to respond to the storm. You cannot make people treat you fairly, but you can act with integrity regardless. You cannot guarantee success, but you can always give your best effort. The result? Inner peace. When you stop demanding that the world behave a certain way, and instead take full ownership of your actions and mindset, you stop suffering unnecessarily. You become mentally lighter, more focused, and harder to shake. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. This clarity is the beginning of resilience. It's not about escaping life's challenges, but facing them with a steady mind. It's the foundation of Stoic strength, to remain centered no matter what happens. Because your peace does not come from the world behaving. It comes from your refusal to let the world disturb your mind. 2, don't react. Observe. If you are disturbed, it is not by things, but by your opinion about them. Epictetus. Imagine this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, your heart races, your jaw clenches, and anger rises. But was it the action itself that disturbed you, or your interpretation of it? This is the insight Epictetus gives us. You are not upset by events, but by the meaning you assign to them. Most of us live on autopilot, reacting instinctively to everything around us. Someone offends us, we lash out, we get bad news, we spiral, we face discomfort, we run. But Stoicism teaches us to break this pattern, to pause, to observe. Before reacting, step back and ask, what am I really feeling? What story am I telling myself about this? Is it true? Is it helpful? That pause is power, because in that moment of awareness, you create space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom. You can choose a response that reflects your values, not your impulses. You can observe your anger without becoming it. You can feel fear without obeying it. You can notice sadness without drowning in it. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means disentangling yourself from them, watching them rise and fall like waves while you remain anchored. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. The Stoics knew Nothing is inherently good or bad. Things simply happen. It is we who assign them meaning. Losing a job could be the end or a new beginning. A breakup could be rejection or redirection. Pain could be suffering or fuel for growth. The wise person does not rush to label, they observe. In a world of constant noise and pressure, this kind of calm observation is rare and powerful. Reacting is easy, observing takes strength, but it's in that quiet strength that true peace is found. 3. Embrace everything as it is, amor fati. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit your needs. Marcus Aurelius. Amor fati, the love of fate, is one of the most profound ideas in Stoic philosophy. It doesn't simply ask you to endure what happens, it asks you to embrace it. Not reluctantly, but willingly. Not as a victim, but as a participant. To love your fate is to say yes to reality, exactly as it is. This is not passivity. It's not giving up. It's the opposite. It's active alignment with life. You stop resisting what already is, and instead you ask, how can I work with this? What can this teach me? Most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our resistance to them. We want the world to match our preferences. We want people to act as we expect. We want outcomes to align with our plans. And when they don't, we suffer. It invites you to trust that everything, the triumphs, the losses, the delays, the heartbreaks, is part of a larger pattern. A pattern designed not to please you, but to shape you. It's about welcoming each moment as essential to your becoming. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks, what is this trying to make of me? There is peace in this posture, a quiet confidence. Life no longer feels like an enemy to fight, but a river to flow with. Even pain has its place. Even endings are beginnings, and the result? Freedom. Because when you no longer need life to obey your expectations, you are free to meet it as it is, with openness, with grace, and with power. As Nietzsche echoed later, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. Amor fati is not easy, but those who practice it discover a kind of invincibility, the peace of someone who welcomes all of life, not just the pleasant parts. To accept is good, to embrace is better. To love your fate, that is freedom. 4. Train your mind before life tests you. We must undergo a hard winter training and not rush into things for which we haven't prepared. Epictetus. Inner peace is not something that magically appears when life becomes easier. It's not given, it's earned. It's the result of disciplined mental training, cultivated awareness, and intentional preparation of the soul. In Stoic philosophy, peace is forged, not found. Epictetus reminds us that life will test us, and we must train for it. Just as a soldier prepares in times of peace for the battles that may come, a Stoic prepares the mind and spirit before hardship arrives. When difficulties hit, it's too late to build strength. You don't want to be crafting a shield in the middle of a war. So the Stoic prepares not in fear, but in wisdom. They rehearse adversity in their mind. They visualize loss, rejection, delay, disappointment. Not to become pessimistic, but to become resilient. They ask, what if this happens? Not to panic, but to practice remaining calm. Why? Because peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of a prepared mind. Because courage is not improvised, it's rehearsed. Because mental strength is not something you hope to have, it's something you build slowly over time. This training doesn't require a retreat from life. It happens in everyday moments, delaying gratification instead of indulging in impulse. Pausing before reacting with anger, reflecting before judging, practicing gratitude in hardship, reminding yourself that everything is temporary. These are not small habits, they are mental push-ups. And just like physical training, the more you practice, the more stable you become under pressure. When life is calm, you train. When life gets chaotic, you respond, not with panic, but with poise. The Stoic doesn't pray for an easier world. They build a sturdier soul. Because they know winter is coming, and when it does, those who trained will walk through the storm, steady, grounded, and free. 5. Let go of expectations. Live by duty. Do your duty without regard to the outcomes. Marcus Aurelius. Expectations create suffering, not because they're inherently wrong, but because they attach your peace to outcomes you cannot control. You expect others to treat you fairly. You expect your work to be rewarded. You expect life to unfold in the way you imagined. But Stoicism teaches that peace doesn't come from predicting the future, it comes from showing up in the present. Marcus Aurelius' advice is simple but revolutionary. Do your duty and let go of the results. Why? Because outcomes belong to fortune. Effort belongs to you. You don't control how people react, whether you're recognized or whether life goes as planned. But you do control your intention, your integrity, and your actions right now. When you act with excellence, regardless of the reward, you free yourself from disappointment. You move from chasing approval to living with purpose, from fearing failure to embracing effort, from clinging to control to embodying presence. This is not passivity, it's discipline. It's choosing to water your own garden even if it rains tomorrow. It's showing up fully, not because you're guaranteed success, but because showing up well is who you are. Every moment you face a choice. Will I act out of fear of the result, or will I act because it's the right thing to do? The Stoic always chooses the second, because duty anchors you in the now, and the now is all you truly have. Let others chase outcomes. Let the world obsess over guarantees and rewards. Your peace doesn't lie there. It lies in the quiet confidence of doing what must be done, with clarity, honor, and zero attachment. No one can take that away from you, not even fate. 6. Don't identify yourself with passing emotions. You are not your emotions. Stand apart and examine them. You feel emotions, but you are not your emotions. Anger, sadness, jealousy, fear, they visit your mind like weather. They arise, peak, and fade. But you remain. The problem is not that you feel. The problem begins when you become what you feel. When you say, I am angry, instead of I feel anger. When you let a momentary emotion write the story of who you are. Stoicism teaches a radical but liberating shift. You are not your first reaction. You are the awareness that notices it. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means observing them with space and clarity. You don't have to push them away, but you also don't have to follow them blindly. Imagine watching a storm from behind a window. The sky darkens, rain pours, thunder crashes. But inside, you're calm. You know the storm will pass. This is what the Stoic mind does with emotion. You feel it, you acknowledge it, you even learn from it, but you don't merge with it. You don't become the storm. When jealousy arises, notice it. When fear appears, breathe through it. When sadness knocks, sit with it, but don't let it unpack and stay forever. Every emotion is a signal, not a sentence. You don't need to obey it. You just need to understand it. This kind of detachment isn't cold or robotic. It's the foundation of peace, because when you're no longer controlled by every inner wave, you can steer your ship. The Stoic stands firm not because they feel nothing, but because they no longer confuse emotion with identity. Let emotions come, let them teach you, let them go, and remain anchored in the deeper self, the observer within, calm, aware, and untouched. 7. No one can take your peace unless you let them. No man is hurt but by himself. Diogenes Laertius on Epictetus. What if your peace didn't depend on how others treated you? What if no insult, betrayal, or rejection could disturb your inner calm, unless you allowed it to? This is not a fantasy. It's the foundation of Stoic thought. Epictetus reminds us, people can say what they want, do what they want, but it's you who decides what it means. No one inserts thoughts into your mind. No one forces you to be upset. You assign meaning to what they say. You choose how to respond. And that choice, that's your power. The Stoic doesn't seek to control others. That's a losing game. Instead, they train their mind to never hand over emotional power to anyone. When someone insults you, it's just sound waves, words in the air. Only your judgment can turn them into pain. When someone ignores you, gossips about you, or treats you unfairly, the question isn't, why did they do this? The question is, why did I give it power over me? This doesn't mean you become numb or passive. It means you become sovereign. You learn to pause before reacting, to observe before absorbing, to choose whether something is worth your energy or not. That's the real freedom Stoicism offers, emotional independence. When you reclaim responsibility for how you feel, you no longer live at the mercy of other people's behavior. You stop being reactive. You start being deliberate. Peace, then, isn't something others give or take. It's a posture, a practice, a decision made moment by moment. No one can disturb the stillness inside you unless you open the door and invite them in. So don't. Stand guard at the gate of your mind. Let only truth, clarity, and purpose pass through. And when the world throws chaos your way, let your peace remain unmoved. 8. Attach less. Love more. When you kiss your child, say to yourself, I am kissing a mortal. Epictetus. The Stoics taught something that sounds almost contradictory: to love deeply, but detach completely. At first, it seems cold. How can you love without attachment? Isn't real love about holding on, protecting, never letting go? But look closer. What causes pain in love is not love itself, it's attachment. Attachment says, you are mine, you must stay, I cannot be okay without you. Love says, I see you, I value you, I accept the impermanence of you. Epictetus urges us to remember the mortality of all things: our children, our friends, our parents, even ourselves. This isn't morbid, it's liberating, because once we realize that everything is temporary, we stop clinging, we stop fearing loss, and that allows us to show up more fully in love without the burden of possession or control. Imagine this: you're holding a fragile, beautiful glass. If you believe it's indestructible, you'll grow careless. If you know it's delicate, you'll treat it with reverence, not fearfully, but intentionally. This is how the Stoic loves: not with indifference, but with clarity; not with fear, but with presence. To attach less doesn't mean you love less. It means you stop trying to own what cannot be owned. You understand that people are not promises. Circumstances are not forever, and nothing truly belongs to you. That's why the Stoic can love courageously. They don't guard their heart, they free it. They don't hide from loss, they embrace what is while it's here. And when change comes, as it always does, they don't crumble. They grieve, yes, but they do not lose themselves. This kind of love creates peace because it holds without clinging, it cares without controlling, and it honors without fearing the end. So love deeply. But remember, the depth of your love does not require the weight of attachment. Let go and love even more. 9. You don't need to be right, you just need to be unshaken. You always own the option of having no opinion. Marcus Aurelius. Modern life constantly pressures us to speak, react, argue, and defend our views. Social media rewards outrage, conversations become debates, silence is mistaken for weakness. But the Stoics knew better. Peace does not belong to the loudest voice, it belongs to the most grounded mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you always have the option to not have an opinion. That isn't apathy, it's mastery. When you feel the urge to prove a point or win an argument, ask yourself, is my peace worth trading for a temporary feeling of being right? Most of the time, it isn't. The Stoics trained themselves to stay centered, not reactive. They didn't see disagreement as a threat. They didn't need validation to feel secure. They weren't afraid of being misunderstood, because they had already chosen what mattered most: inner stability over outer victory. Imagine someone trying to argue with a mountain. The mountain doesn't respond, not because it's weak, but because it's unshaken. This is Stoic strength, the power to choose your stillness. You can walk away from a pointless argument, you can nod without agreeing, you can listen without reacting, and you can let someone else win while you quietly keep your peace. The need to be right often comes from ego, not wisdom. It's a fragile need, built on fear of being seen as wrong, weak, or less than. But when your worth isn't tied to external approval, you're free. Free to let others have their opinions, free to be misunderstood, free to protect your mind like sacred ground. This doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose when and why. And more importantly, you choose how much of yourself to give away in the process. True freedom isn't always found in the last word. Sometimes it's found in the quiet confidence of not needing one at all. 10. Remember, death is always present. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. Most people live as if time is unlimited. They argue as if they'll live forever. They procrastinate as if there's always tomorrow. They chase status, possessions, and validation, blind to the fragility of it all. But the Stoics reminded us of a simple, sobering truth. You could die today. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. Is not a dark thought. It's a clarifying one. When you remember that death could come at any moment, life becomes sharper, cleaner, more intentional. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. You stop clinging to petty grudges, anxieties, and distractions. You start living with presence and purpose. It's not about being morbid, it's about being awake. Why waste a single day in anger or regret when it could be your last? Why hold back love, gratitude, or truth when this moment might never return? The awareness of death doesn't create fear. It dissolves illusion. It reminds you that the only time you ever truly have is now. Marcus Aurelius didn't write these words to depress us. He wrote them to free us. When death is kept close in your awareness, you don't become passive. You become alive. You prioritize what matters: integrity over image, connection over ego, growth over comfort. You let go of trivial worries. You forgive faster, you speak more honestly, you love more deeply. Memento mori is not a threat, it's a practice of gratitude. Every sunrise becomes a gift. Every conversation becomes sacred. Every breath becomes an act of presence. So live not with dread, but with clarity. Let death walk beside you, not to scare you, but to sharpen you. Let it strip away what's false, let it focus your energy, and let it remind you this moment is enough, because it may be the last. Inner peace is not given, it is forged. Stoicism is not for those who seek comfort. It is not about feeling good, it is about becoming strong. In a world full of noise, distraction, and uncertainty, inner peace is not something you stumble upon. It is something you build, moment by moment, thought by thought. It is not granted by the world, but earned by the way you relate to it. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't try to change the world. They changed themselves. They didn't depend on comfort. They trained for clarity. They didn't chase peace. They practiced the discipline that creates it. Inner peace isn't a passive state. It is an active mastery over your judgments, emotions, and impulses. It is the result of distinguishing what you can control from what you can't and letting go of the rest. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't need to react to everything. The world will never stop being chaotic. People will never stop being people. Pain, loss, uncertainty, these are part of the human experience. But when you stop expecting the world to be easy and start strengthening your own mind, that is when peace begins. True peace is not the absence of storms, but the ability to remain still within them. When no opinion shakes you, no insult defines you, no outcome controls you, then you found something the world can't touch. Not pleasure, not comfort, but freedom. That is what Stoicism offers, not a soothing escape from life, but the clarity, strength, and resilience to live it fully. Inner peace is not found, it is forged.